on the internet. My name is, well, it's an internet. I can play any role whatever I want, so you can call me Albert Wesker, random dude from the internet, whatever you want to call it. Everyone right now is freaking vivid on the internet, so I was also trying to make this video because I also feeling the same way all of the others write on the internet. It's regarding the specific Dragon Age drama, because recently the Dragon Age FailGuard finally released, but unfortunately when it released, so many people got expectations that the 10 weight was worth the wait, but unfortunately it wasn't, because oh my lord, I was terribly disappointed with the way when I see at first Dragon Age the FailGuard, because at first I thought that, well, everyone is hating it, well, maybe the combat ain't that way, but you know what, when I realized that fancy graphics out there, because well, some say fancy and all that stuff, and the character creation is kind of a good, but the only good thing everyone is pointing out in character creation was only their hair, while the other way around, when specifically some specific way, like, you know, specific character things, and especially, and of course there was this idiocy with pronouns, because some minority stuff say that they are like that, they have some scars and all that stuff. Like, why would you put this in a Dragon Age? I don't want this to be in a Dragon Age. I want dark freaking fantasy. I don't want to have some stupidity with their identity problems. Like, really, why? So many people were saying like not only that pronounce stupidity out there, but they're also downgrade in specific areas of the FailGuard, and especially in Dragon Age, because like you can't be mean, you can have like morally bad questionable choices and all that jazz. And don't look at me, I'm just using the Inquisition gameplay here just in order to make my so-called review, because everyone is making a review, but I don't have any agenda for specific like that. I don't need that I don't need views and all that jazz. All I want is just, I am always I always use YouTube specifically for my channel mostly as a hobby. I don't plan to work with YouTube. I don't need specific you know, YouTube partnership and all that jazz. I have a job, so basically YouTube is mostly like a hobby to me. But when I saw that, what they did with my beloved franchise, I waited for this game since the release of Inquisition. Inquisition was released back in, originally it was released in 2014. And it has some specific how could I say it, DLCs. Like, there's two DLCs out there specifically. Like Jaws of Hakan, the Descent, I think it was the name of that second DLC. Well, it wasn't specifically story DLC. It was mostly a filler DLC, because in Jaws of Hakan you were supposed to kill specific Havar god, which is specifically a dragon. So yes. And also the Descent, which you helping the Orzammar dwarves fight back the Darkspawn, because there is Darkspawn in this game and they actually look great. By the way, we can actually go into the Winded Coast. I think it was the name of that. Not its Crestwood. Winded Coast, I think, and there are supposed to be some Darkspawn out there, and the Darkspawn in Inquisition were okay. In Descent, they even upgraded their design. Well, of course, they were much more darkened in Origins, because I replayed a lot of Origins, and I also replayed a lot of Dragon Age 2, because I actually like Dragon Age 2 when everyone on the internet, everyone was shitposting and making videos like Dragon Age 2 is bad, Dragon Age 2 is bad. Well, comparing Dragon Age 2 against Dragon Age FailGuard, Hawk is way more appealing character than that stupid Rook. Remember when we play as a second Dragon Age game? Not only in this second Dragon Age game, in some ways it's more darker than Veilguard, and even, well, some say that Origins is still their best, and Dragon Age, while not that bad, but they still prefer the first game. Well, at some point I agree with them, and at some point I don't agree with them, because well, it's now we're talking about you know. Oh shit, Red Templars. Now we're talking about tastes and all that stuff. So, in my taste, I like Dragon Age 2 more, and I actually. So that's why I even thinking that. Well, I'm not comparing it, but still, you remember when. When there was interesting moral choices out there? Would you the biggest dilemma out there is, would you like to support the Templars or you not? So yes, and there you go. And about your siblings, that Hawk have brother and sister. If you are a mage character, then the sister always end up dying when you're trying to get away from loitering as way as possible, as far away as possible. But then, if your character is you know, if he's a rogue or a warrior, then it will be Carver who will be dying, and the other way around. So yes, I mean it will be the same. It will be the same if you're going to go, if your Hawk is a female, Mariana, and if your Hawk is a male, which is Garrett Hawk by default. So Hawk were a way more fleshed out character, because we saw that he was about to, how he became a legend from the very beginning, like from being a dude from Lowtown who is scrapping for money and doing practically every other thing. He like every time he's doing something specifically, of course not for free. And he making his way. He go to the Deep Rogues exploration, and he found that red lyrium idol. And there is also a chance that maybe your sibling, either it's Carver or Bethany, probably they could die on the deep roads. And also, funny, interestingly enough, they either die in the deep roads, or they become a Grey Warden. And especially for Kava, when he became a Grey Warden, this is completely 360 degrees around the table, because he's became completely different character. Because everyone knows that Carver, every time you try to play, that every time he's around your party, he will become he becomes a very just a second. let us continue our conversation, because he's annoying. Carver is annoying when you take him with you in your party. He's always whining. He's annoying as hell. He every time it will be really difficult for him to make him on the route for friendship, and if you not take him with you on the expedition to the deep roads, so he will basically be mostly rivalry route with him, because if he is a Templar, I think his rivalry will be maxed out. But if you are, I'm sorry if I'm mistaken. If I'm mistaken, then correct me please in the commentary. He might be he might be, you know, very unpleasant, but every time when you make him a Grey Warden, he will practically be well, he became a different person, and I like that person a lot. While Bethany, on the other hand, if she becomes a Grey Warden, then then her personality also changes, and in a very different and grim way, because she always will try to, you know, saying that something terrible, like she's a walking corpse and all that jazz. So, but when she go into the circle, she's more alive. I don't know, more peaceful, more. She's more okay-ish with being a circle magi inside the circle when she was an apostate, I think. So yeah. And on the second act, the Hawk became, he bought again his house estate in the High Town. He became a royalty, even though your character is a mage or non-mage. So even if you were a mage, you can buy yourself a title and be again. So but still, his family name is carrying a lot of weight in Kirkwall, so it wasn't that difficult. Even if he didn't have, I do think they could have do something and bought themselves a title, something like that jazz. But anyway, in the second game, he stops the Kunari from taking over the city, because there's an official Dragon Age 2 trailer when Viscount when Arishok beheads the Viscount of Kirkwall, and they practically wanted to take over the city because their queen demanded, and they needed to make justice because there was a lot of injustice. Again, it's Kunari. It's never easy with them. But still, he kills Arishok. He can either kill him in a duel or kill his entire room of his own personal men with that terrible mage, which has always killed me in that last room. Goddamn, I hate that mage a lot. And he became a champion of Kirkwall. That's why everyone is now referring to Hawk as champion of Kirkwall. Even Varric, every time he's making a story from for Hawk from the very beginning, and even Cassandra, she was some kind of investigator in Dragon Age 2, but in Dragon Age Inquisition, she is full-fledged companion, and you can take her every time with you. And she's a very interesting character, despite her being very, you know, very faithful, I might say that, because every time she's saying something about Chantry and all that jazz. Even sometimes when you're trying to make your first take your first options to befriend her. She even asks you like, do you believe in Maker? If not, but because she believed, because she it was her entire life that she was doing that, and every time like, she's a seeker of the Chantry. What would you expect of her? She couldn't just abandon her vows and say like every time and all these years that I was serving in the Chantry, so all that was a lie. You can't just do that. It's her background of her story. You can just persuade her like the Maker isn't exist. Like, stop doing that bullshit what you are doing right now. Like you can't just do that. So yes. And what else? What else? And in the third act is probably the most morally questionable of all, because even on the main menu there you see two characters, Grand Enchanter Orsino and also Darkspawn. There they are. Darkspawn. Go ahead, dude. Go ahead, hit me. I mostly play as the mage, but sometimes I like to play as but sometimes I like to play a warrior from time to time. But still, the Grand Enchanter Orsino, the head of the Circle of Magi, and also the Knight Commander Meredith. And of course, she is head of local Templars, and the Templars in Kirkwall, they were shit, bears. I hate bears. Skyrim flashbacks. Mages in Templars in Kirkwall were the most brutal. They're something like, I don't want to say that they are bad, but we know that French police the most brutal in my opinion. It's the most brutal in the entire in our world. So they are basically like French policemen, but the more extreme part of it, because what can I say? Like, the more mages resisted, the more Templars fight back against them, and etc., etc. And in the end, you will then need to then you will have need a choice, because you either you are siding with the mages or you're siding with Templars. And it's up to your own personal preferences. You think that the Templars are correct.
So, Sparkle, what do you think of the Inquisition so far? It's interesting, I'll give you that. An archdemon attacking me is a first. 5 Royals says you'll see something weirder before the day ends. I don't think I should take that bet.
Okay, I didn't want to interrupt their conversation, but let's continue. And then after that, and in the end, you either but still you have your generic battles with the Templars and the possessed mages, which became some abominations there. And after that, you have 2 main bosses there. The Grand Enchanter Orsino, who's lost it and then used blood magic and probably the corpses out there to infuse himself in the thing called Harvester. The people who played Origins, especially all of their DLCs, remember there was a DLC called Golems of Amgarok, and basically what was that DLC was there for? In order for you to help some dwarves to recreate Caradin's experiments, but instead of just making golems, they started to fleshcraft like we're playing some Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, and the people who played Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, they know that there are some vampire clan there called the Tzimitzi, and they also can do this flesh crafty thing. They could craft an entire chapels made of flesh. Can you imagine that? Entire chapel made of flesh. And there was this boss called Harvester, which is exactly the same model type used for that character. And you beat him, and in the end you'll beat the Knight Commander Meredith, because even if you side with the Templars, she will still went batshit crazy and still try to kill you. But she will use then the sword, specific sword, which was made out of that red lyrium, which we found out in the first act of Dragon Age 2. And in the end, Hawk became will have this title, Champion of Kirkwall. And by the way, the funny thing is, by default, Hawk will be mage. Because he even if you make him warrior or rogue, because as far as I remember, some people were saying that warrior gameplay in Dragon Age 2 was also cool. But like every time you play a Dragon Age, the mage. At first, I thought that mage was dull, but in the end, I found out that maybe they are dull at some point, but they have the best and useful skills ever, because the spells, they are fully on control stuff like this. I mean, is like disabling shields, because there is a new type of magic there, the spirit school, which is instead of healing, the mages put on you the defensive shields, like energy shield, but magical energy shield. So in the end, Hawk, even if you're making your Hawk default, he always be mage, because even in the trailer he was mage. But in the FailGuard, first we see Rook as a rogue. Listen. So many people appraise the FailGuard for having interesting combat system. Listen, the combat system is not enough. Actually, really, it's not enough. If the story is terrible, and like you see, this is an Inquisition walkthrough. You see the background here. Like, this is a winded coast. It's so gorgeous. Look at that water. Even if it's 2013, it's open world. Most of the locations in FailGuard, they are linear. Some might say, oh yes, of course, Dragon Age 2 also have linear levels. Like, the main criticism Dragon Age 2 had, because of the same designs, which is, location designs, because they were all the same. The same dungeons, the same places in Kirkwall, the same mountains, the same coasts, beach coasts in Dragon Age 2. I admit that, but at least the story there were okay. Okay, and it still was Dragon Age. In Dragon Age, even in Inquisition, you can see every time when I'm fighting. You won't see, because right now my let me see. No, you won't see, the blood here is also stays on your Inquisitor and all his companions, but not like in Origins or in Dragon Age 2, because in Dragon Age 2 I think they even add more gore in the blood ways. So in Velgar there is no blood. There is no blood. Instead of blood, there is some strange, a lot of flashy, stuff, effects, all of that jazz. But here at least you can see. Well, I need to go to see it on my character. No, I won't see because it's too dark here. It's too freaking dark. I think there is. I think the blood is there. Blood. I can see my blood if I want it. But if the battles are extreme, then they are okay. But I waited for at first the game was supposed to be called FailGuard, but then they changed the name. It was supposed to call, sorry, my mistake, it was supposed to be called Dreadwolf, because Solus, Dreadwolf, all that jazz. But then they changed the name of the game, called it FailGuard, and people will then started to thinking like, this is a bad sign, really, because everyone's okay with Dreadwolf. Why they put FailGuard in it? I don't understand, really. Then they showed us oh, Tim, you spider, Then they give us the first mission of the game, and at least people were okay with this. But when they give us when they show us the new characters, people were not very. Let's just say they're not enjoyed the design for those new characters, because like, oh, come on, why would you made those strange character design? Like, I can show you it because I'm recording it on my PlayStation because I don't have a PC. But I have a phone, but I wanted to record it I wanted to record it not only my talking on my phone, but I also wanted to have like some sort of gameplay at least, so you can enjoy me watching while I'm rambling and making my Rant / review. Because look at characters here. Well, I can show you my Inquisitor because he is wearing a closed helmet. But look, Blackwall, oh shit. Let me kill that bear so I can show it to you. I can show you my Inquisitor because he's wearing a helmet. Wait.
To me? Are you referring to the giant hole in the sky, or the creature out of Chantry cautionary tale who wants to be a god? Neither. I'm feeling generous. What's the problem? Someone shows up, tears the place apart, declares himself king. That's half of history. Corypheus is that terrifying drunk nobody will ask to leave. Even after he puts a hole in the ceiling. Terribly common.
Are you done, boys? Okay. Let me see. Blackwall. Look at him. The design, how he looks. The dude, the mustached beard dude, who is who has an interesting backstory, to say the least. Well, people who played know. Let's call him Grey Warden. Grey Warden, of course. Dorian. Look at Dorian, for Christ's sake, look. Did you know what they made with what they did with Dorian? Here, at least, he looked like at least like Freddie Mercury here, some portion of it. But in FailGuard, like, oh my God! And they also made him that stupid haircut. Here, at least, he is okay. Oh, let me. Here. Look at him. Nice looking character. What was the problem with it for like put this design from Inquisition into the FailGuard? What was the problem? Why they changed him? Why? And then no, it's fine. Look, Black Wolf from here. Varric also. I don't know why they changed his hair for being a brown. I mean, black. They made him black hair for some reason, while he was always, you know, have this like bright brown, let's call it, hairstyle. But you can see what happened with character there, because character out there, they're just terrible. And there was also funny thing is about that some so-called producers trying to blame YouTubers and gamers like myself, who's just playing the games because he wanted to escape from reality, because right now humanity lives in very, very dire times, I can say it, because the world right now is in a freaking mess. And not only all that woke bullshit is making the world look insane, but we have also some other terrible things happening in the world, you know. And people wanting to play just play normal video games without any of that stupid politics. And I mean not politics like here in the Inquisition, because there is a lot of politics actually in the Inquisition, but the creators themselves actually made it to see those things interestingly from this for this specific story in Inquisition. Because in Inquisition, you are tasked to what if every time what you're saying is determined even who is the next divine. Unfortunately, I once tried for this specific playthrough. I went with Templars, and that's why my Cassandra Pentagast now is she is Divine Victoria now. She's the new divine, Grand Cleric Divine, whatever you like to call it. But most people I know, if you are taking a mage's side, which actually mages have way more interesting quests when you recruit them, rather than just defeating the envy demon who's wanted to replace you and rule Inquisition instead of you. Like, it's kind of okay, but time traveling magic is way more interesting than the envy demon who's just trying to completely mimic you and replace you. Well, but the envy demon from body horror aspect, it was kind of a creepy. But you can't even have this in FailGuard because it's actually terrible. The design for Darkspawn, it's like they are very cartoonish, like no open world. Like some people say that open world weren't that great, and it was terrible idea for Inquisition. I disagree, because there is a perspective for in this way, because if you are bad at creating open worlds, then you won't do this. Because look at Bethesda. We can say anything for Bethesda and all that stuff, because the Bethesda also have this problem with that wokeness, because there is specifically a video which bald dude he's always shouting that in that video, like, fucking pronouns something like that. And but still, Bethesda is okay at making open worlds. But now we will then soon realize that the game, which is supposed to be something like an analog for Elder Scrolls, because we don't even know how many years still there's gonna be for the new Dragon Age to arrive there. I mean, not Dragon Age, the Elder Scrolls game, because they I don't even know, either will they going to release another big expansion for what was that last, it's completely slipped out of my mind, that game from Bethesda. Oh, Starfield. Yes, Starfield. I don't that there were first big expansion for Starfield they released, but if we remember the release period of all the Elder Scrolls games, there were one expansion, and then the second, the much more bigger in terms of content, but this was the last. So mostly Todd Howard and Bethesda, for their big releases, they always release the first expansion after the release of the game, and then they release the second expansions for putting a period for that specific game. Like for Skyrim there was Dawnguard and also the Dragonborn, and for Oblivion there was Knights of the Nine and Shivering Isles, and for Fallout there was Fallout 3. I mean, probably was the only I think. I'm not. Well, even though I played Fallout, I never played Fallout's DLCs. I know there is Mothership Zeta with aliens. I know there is a with some dudes in the fog. Well, I remember it's mostly from the fourth Fallout, but they basically they recreate that concept mostly. Oh my God, what that big dude doing? Holy shit. Like, you see, like the Red Templars, they are the most terrifying here. What was there so terrifying in FailGuard? I wouldn't see. Like, some people might say, did you even play the game? I wanted it first, but then I saw that it has an RPG elements, but it's not an actual RPG. Like, well, yes, of course, I can put every other items for my characters there, but unfortunately, I can't actually control them. Like, you see, I went with Blackwall, I'm controlling him. I go with Warwick, I'm controlling him. I go with Dorian, and I'm also controlling him. And in FailGuard, you only can control Rook. And also about the companions. Everyone loves companions from Inquisition, from especially Dragon Age 2, and even and especially from Origins. But in FailGuard, we have dude who is kinda possessed assassin, and he has split personality between himself, who is biggest fan of coffee, I think, out of all of them, and sometimes this demon entity took over him and your companions freaked out. We have We have Scout Harding, which funny thing is, Scout Harding is actually voice acted by a voice actress who is her famous role in Oblivion games are Liara from Mass Effect.
I've got one for you, Varric. Best tavern name you've ever seen. I'm torn between the bed and bucket and the bottom of the barrel.
Oh, that's a tough one. I think I have to go with the neighbor's house for sheer balls.
Okay. And you have, what do you have? You have Scout Harding, which is voice acted by Liara's voice actor.